I'm sure we've all heard this exact same advice over and over and over again. We all need to recycle. Turn off the lights when we leave the room, switch up to a reusable water bottle, or maybe even walk and bike a bit. It's repeated so often that it often sounds like the truth, but it's not. In fact, this is so false that it's dangerously misleading. What if I told you that just 100 companies were responsible for 3/4 of our global emissions? Well, in 2018, it was found that 71% of our global emissions can be attributed to just 100 companies. Not countries, not governments, companies. These same companies, which are mostly fossil fuel producers, are the exact reason why we are here today in the problem we are in. But why do we live in a world where you and me, the consumer, are made to feel like we are the problem? This wasn't any accident. It was a strategy. These companies have carefully crafted a narrative that if we, the consumer, switch to reusable bags, switch the light bulbs out for cleaner ones, then we can stop climate change, and they can continue down the path of destruction they've been on for over a century. Isn't that convenient? Let me introduce you to a term you've probably already heard: greenwashing. Greenwashing is when a company changes to look more sustainable for public approval. They make very large, vague claims like they're going to go net zero by 2050. But in reality, these claims are based on vague, unverifiable ideas like offsetting or insetting. And they're actually investing more money into PR and marketing than sustainability. But why do these companies continue to spend more money on marketing against environmentalism and pushing away the idea of sustainable options? The answer? Money. In oil and gas, the profit margins hit roughly 50 or 20 to 50%, let's say. Whereas renewable options, such as solar energy, hit only 10%. In the math of a capitalist system, it is extremely smart to continue to pollute and destroy the world while maximizing profits. This is a truth we're rarely told, and it's high time we wake up and see this for what it is: a distraction. But greenwashing isn't the only problem. Governments have grown complacent. They rely on these companies for campaign funding, energy, and jobs. And they've started changing policies, rewriting laws, and going back on things they've said, and writing things in a way that favors these industries and companies that have destroyed our environment. I used to believe that climate change was fake and everything was a hoax, and we were all going to wake up one day, some genius was either going to find out that this was fake and prove everyone right, or solve it all for us. And then I listened, and I started paying attention. And I realized that although these problems and these consequences might not reach me, they'll reach my children or my children's children. And I don't know about you, but I do not want to live in a world where my children are unable to see the sun when they play in a park, or that very park has no green grass to play on. And the question becomes now, what can I do? What can you and me do to actually change what's happening? There's a term in the dieting industry that I love. Don't focus on cutting calories, focus on adding vegetables. In this sense, we're not exactly talking about cutting calories and adding vegetables, although I do recommend adding vegetables. That's very good for your diet. We're talking about cutting back. We're talking about not focusing on cutting back our emissions. We're focusing on adding action. Planting trees, working to help build or sustain community gardens, educating others, pushing your municipalities, your schools, places to adopt greener practices. These actions, while they do not fix the global climate crisis, they most certainly have compounding effects in your own community, and they can help make the world you wake up to much more green. But this last thing, this singular thing, has the greatest impact on the environment, and is something that you and I can do almost every year. Using your voice and voting. Although politicians don't admit it, they respond to pressure. And every single one of us has the capability to make sure that they treat climate action as a serious priority. In fact, I don't think climate crisis and climate action should be a priority. Sustainability should be the only thing that politicians know they need to do, status quo, so that every single person that they want to can vote for them. There's a movie, Blade Runner. It's a world run completely by mega corporations where the sky is choked out with pollution and people in the bottom of society are so overcome by health issues, they're unable to bring themselves out of poverty. Or WALL-E, another great example I'm sure you've seen, a world where people have flown from Earth and living disconnected, unaware of the possible, beautiful world that they've lost. These aren't just dystopian fantasies. They're cautionary tales, and they're becoming increasingly more plausible. But even when we imagine a change in our environment, we still get it wrong. In the movie Downsizing, people found a way to shrink themselves, effectively reducing their emissions to their new size. But what happened? They continued to consume, they continued to buy, and they continued to build bigger, newer houses relative to their new size. And it's achieved nothing. So while they reduced the impact on the environment and they reduced the amount they affected the world, they increased the amount of harmful behavior that they had. That's us. We are trying to green the surface of a system that is broken underneath. We don't need to shrink ourselves. We need to grow. Grow our demands, grow our standards, and grow our expectations. But here's the good news. The solution exists. There are plenty of people out there, like Boyan Slat, who have found ways to clear and fix the water pollution. And plenty more scientists, doctors, engineers who have created ways that we can fix all the problems we have. We are no longer simply waiting on a solution. We're waiting on the will. So let's stop asking, what can I do to reduce my emissions? And start asking, what can we do together to change the system? We need to stop. We need to stop buying bamboo. The future is ours to shape. And we need to stop buying bamboo toothbrushes and hoping for the best. We need to start insisting, demanding, organizing, and pushing on change. A world where sustainability isn't simply a lifestyle, it's law. Thank you.